demonstrate compelling circumstances. So that's the second thing. So first thing which I spoke to you guys about is about serious health issues and a disability issue. That's the second issue I spoke about right now is about basically, employer retaliation. Third issue is other substantial harm to the applicant. So if you anticipate any harm, for example, now you're dealing with the COVID situation, and if you go back to your country, you're going to be persecuted, or there's no way you'll survive in your country, and things are going to be very, very, very difficult for you to go back. You own a house here, you have everything over here, your entire life revolves in the US, and other than that, your children who are going to school, and there's no way that you can go back, then immigration may consider substantial harm. So you don't need any help over here. You need a good lawyer who can work with you, and you're going to be in good shape with that. The other important thing is, this is something that I would definitely tell people to consider. Significant disruption to the employer, very important. Now you're working with a consulting company, an IT company, and this wonderful IT company cannot help you because of COVID. They're losing the contracts with the government and with other entities left and right. Now they're losing their contracts. This is a miserable situation, and this is a big issue for everybody. So now, since they're losing their contracts, the employer can work with you and with a very qualified lawyer and document the fact that it's going to be a big, big, big hassle at this time if you're going to be kind of, losing your job. So I would basically make sure that we can work with the employer. We make sure that you're in a miserable situation, and if immigration understands, you're going to get your EAD. That is excellent. Now you got your EAD. Now you want your wife or your husband and your children to get an EAD. What do? Good news. If your EAD is approved, then the children's EADs also can be approved. Now, people ask me on the show, like Green Card with Gehi, that Mr. Gehi, when should I exercise this option? My warmest recommendation is just choose this when you have this, when you are kind of in this unfortunate situation that you have no kind of hope left. It's like basically, taking the last pill. So when you think that you really are in a miserable circumstance or in a compelling circumstance that, that this is your last choice, then you should exercise it. The good news is that if your EAD is approved, then your wife's EAD or your husband's EAD can be approved, and your children's EAD can be approved. Now, there's another good thing I want to tell some people, that people think that all the time you need to show that for this I-140 process that you have to show compelling. Now, there's a small exception to this. You applied for your I-140 petition, and right now the priority date is not current, but you're within the 1 year. Remember this word. You're within this 1 year from the priority date becoming current. The good news is that you don't have to show compelling circumstances in those cases. So folks, these can be complicated issues, and end of the day, this can be a great, great relief for a lot of people who are on an H1B visa, who are on an L1 visa. People were surprised when I said, Mr. Gehi, does this apply to L1 visas? Man says, yes, applies to people who are on L1 visas. It applies to them for sure. Then it applies to people on O1 visa, provided they have their I-140 petitions approved. Provided they have the I-140 petitions approved. Also applies to E3 visas for Australians. If your I-140 is approved, and if the priority date is not current, this is going to be your best friend if you want to exercise this as your last resort. Now, what kind of people cannot get a benefit even if the I-140s are approved? If you have been charged with a dangerous felony, if you've been charged with a felony, unfortunately, you cannot do anything. So folks, I know I'm getting questions, but after we finish the show, you'll get enough time after 6:45 for me to ask you questions. So number one is that if you have been basically convicted of a felony, you're in trouble. If you have 2 misdemeanors on your name, you cannot avail the benefit of this provision under the immigration laws of the United States of America. So remember, the bottom line is that this is fantastic for people who are actually having the I-140s approved, who are in this vulnerable situation wherein they don't want to leave the country and they are panicking at the stage. And they said that whatever it takes, my I-140 is approved and I'm going to go by this route. So this is something that needed a lot of detailed attention, and it falls under 8 CFR 204.5. I mean, I'm a walking book. I love to master everything that I talk about. It just comes to me naturally. And secondly, other than that, all these categories that I'm talking to you all about come under Section 203 of the Immigration and Nationality Act. So some question and answers from people on this particular topic were, Mr. Gehi, what happens if my I-140 is pending? No luck, I cannot help you. Second question was that, Mr. Gehi, what can I do? I already finished my 60-day mark and I'm out of status. No luck for you. The next question was that, can I travel on parole? I would say it's not a good idea, but immigration reserves the discretion to grant you the advance parole to travel outside and come back. But it's against my strongest recommendation. That can be a problem. And also these cases can have some issues with adjustment of status, but you can do consular processing, but at least you'll be considered to be on status just because of the compelling necessity. Now, a lot of people are approaching us with this issue because, you have to be very knowledgeable about this particular provision. And this is a very specialized area. Someone asked me that, oh, don't you think that most employment-based attorneys would know it? My answer is it depends. Because drafting these cases is a different animal altogether. Presenting these cases to immigration, it's a different animal altogether. And remember, to prove compelling circumstances is not an easy job. So if you're in that situation wherein you're in the situation where your employer really needs you and he has a lot of layoffs because he lost some major contracts, and if he really likes you and he wants to keep you, then I think I would definitely exercise this option. I would consider that seriously with my employer. Now, do you have to have your employer involved while talking to me? The answer is no. We can work together even without your employer, because you are the person who's in trouble. And if you are ready to work on it, I'd be happy to assist you so that at least we cross this bridge and make sure that you and your family are secured. And we make sure that exactly like you do not cross the 60-day threshold period, because, unfortunately, after the 60 days, you guys can have issues. So we are going to, it's 6:45, and as usual, we are going to open the floor for question and answers. And you can ask me any question you want. And I have Abdul over here, and I think he has a question to ask. Yes, Abdul. Can I have your full name first, and where are you calling from? Hi, Zafar. Please ask us your question. Hello?
Hey,
Yes, I can hear you.
hey, hi, this is Abdul. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Yes.
So my question is like my I-140 is in pending state and my H1, I think H1 I'm
Can you speak a little louder, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Yeah. So my I-140 is in pending state and my H1, I'm going to complete my 6 years in the month of October. So will I be eligible for an H1B extension?
As far as under the law, if you're looking at Section 214B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, generally, I mean, if they want to kind of trouble you, they can deny the petition. But in all practical sense, I haven't seen that to be a problem as of yet. So I think you should be good because they've been pretty lenient in that regard. But if someone looks at the black letter law, and if you get a very conservative officer, he has the right to deny you. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. Because if you're already on an F1, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Oh, I'm on H1.
You're on an H1.
Yeah.
On an H1, you don't have to worry about anything because H1 follows the dual intent doctrine.
Okay, because I was only knowing about that H1B has only 6 years and extension will be there if 140 has been approved. But recently I was reading a document where it was mentioned that
Okay,
okay,
your
if
question
my
is that you are on an H1B visa right now and your I-140 is pending, correct?
yeah, my I-140 is in pending and my
And your perm is approved, correct?
yes, my perm is
So
approved.
then I don't see it to be a problem, but you need to check, with your employer whether it has been 1 year or whether the perm is approved or not. But
Yeah,
you
my
can send me an
perm,
email
sure,
and I can look it up for you. But and when is your 6 years coming up?
October.
In October. Now,
Yeah.
is there any time you can capture?
October 14th, I think.
No, can you capture any time?
Capture
Have
any
you
time
have you spent any time outside the country?
no.
No. All right. So a couple of things. Make sure that what you need to do is you need to see when your perm was approved, whether it's 1 year from there, that shouldn't be a problem really.
My
And
perm
other
got
than that, I would say
approved last year April.
why don't you send me an email
Sure,
at info@gehi.com and I can check it up for you just as a courtesy.
sure I do.
All right. But I think you should be in decent shape. Others, you have some options to back yourself up. There's nothing much to worry about so far, the way I look at the case.
Okay, thanks for your
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah. So if there are other viewers, you can ask me some questions and I'll be happy to help out. Yes, you have to always let us know your name, even if you're a laid off employee, but that's a rule that we have because everything is recorded over here. So we respectfully urge you to give us your name. Hello? Hello? Yes, ask your question,
This is
please.
Jason here. Hello.
Yes, your name, please, and where you calling from.
Yeah, this is Jason here. I'm calling from San Francisco. I
Yes.
just had a question regarding the H1B, sorry, I-140 approved. So if suppose after 2 years, if I have to come back from India, so do I have to go to the cap or is it cap accept?
No, but you already are in it. You already have an H1. So I mean, if you have the years which are already there on the H1, I don't see you to be having a member of the
No.
cap.
So I've completed my 6 years. I've completed my 6 years.
And your
So
I-140
after
is approved, correct?
yes.
I don't see a problem with getting a 7th-year extension here.
No, means I already have an extension. I'm on the 8th year right now. So if I
I don't
suppose
see it to
go
be a
back
problem.
so I can come back after 2 years. I don't have to go to the cap and all that thing, right? The lottery
You don't
system
have
and all
to.
that.
Based upon my knowledge, the answers, of course, I don't see
Because
it to be a
I
problem.
get some conflicted information on the web, so I was just trying to.
I don't see it to be a problem. That's number one. And if there is an issue, you can fight that out with immigration. You need a lawyer who's a fighter. Because the good thing is that the regulations are not very clear on it, but you have a fight on that.
Okay, thanks.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, same like on the web also I found it like okay.
No, but
you have
I
to
wouldn't
consult
worry
a
about
lawyer.
it because
But I
you know
think
what?
the feeling I got is okay. I don't have to worry about it. Just I wanted to confirm.
No, I don't think it would be a big problem. Honestly, if it was a problem, I'd be telling you directly, yes, it's a problem. But, better for me to be upfront with you and I don't see it. But if you have an issue, I can find it out for you.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
And yeah, that's a great thing. Now, okay, so we have another question from a viewer. Very, very important. This is excellent. Someone's H1B has been denied and it was denied on an appeal. What do? I can file your case in federal court for you. And once if you go to federal court, you're going to see that you have a better chance in federal court rather than fighting in front of immigration. So we are federal lawyers. And if you're a very valuable employee of your company, and if your case has been denied, and if you have a justifiable case, we can fight that in federal court for you. Trust me, folks, federal court is very fair compared to what's going on in immigration these days. So anytime you want to fight your case, we can help you because we can go all the way to federal court for employment-based immigration matters. That's what we do. Yes, Zafar, how may I help you?
Yeah, I have L1 visa.
Yes.
And my L1 visa is expiring in April 23, but I-94 is actually valid till April 21. So my question is first, what will be my status, resident status after April 21? So.
Okay, so under the law, after April 24th, you'll be accruing unlawful presence. So even if you stay for those 3 extra days, you have 60 days to depart. So okay. I wouldn't worry too much about that particular issue. But depends on what is your plan right now. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I will go for the extension. I'm speaking to my employer and
Yeah,
I'm
then there's
asking for
nothing
the
for you to
extension.
worry about.
Okay.
You're in
No.
good shape, brother.
My I-94 is actually valid till April 21. That's what I'm worrying about.
So tell your employer to start putting in the papers. I don't know what he's doing, but the papers should have been put in as soon as possible.
Okay.
So at least you have time until June. But if I were you, he should have already filed it by now. Why is he waiting for the last minute here?
Okay, fine. I will speak to him.
So that'll help you a lot for sure.
Yeah, I will speak to them. And another thing for L1 visa for a green card applications, so only employer can apply. I cannot do that.
Or if you belong to the EB1 category, we are going to talk about it in our next show. How can you self-sponsor yourself for the green card? If you think you're very talented, which country are you from?
I'm from India.
Okay, so do you have a PhD or do you have a lot of publications?
Pardon, complications in what too?
Publications in your field. Are you well known in your field of endeavor?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm in IT field. I don't know.
Okay, so I think it's better for you to just go through your employer
Okay.
at the stage, and that will help you a lot.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. And let's see if we have some more viewers and some more questions. And folks, yes. All right. Please, as I said, there are some rules that we follow here. You will have to give us your name when you are here. And that's going to help us a lot because we want to keep everything transparent on the show in this regard, please. So your name, please. Is this Mia? Hello? Hello? Okay, so I think I want people to ask questions. This is the time for everyone to ask us questions. And as I said, now let's talk about, Mia has a question to ask, I believe. So can someone, yes, Mia. Hello?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, Mia, you have to mute yourself. Yes, how can I help you?
Yeah, my name is actually Majid and I'm from India.
Yes,
I would
Majid.
like to know that what is the possibility and the requirements if I come on B1, B2 visa and changing into a student visa?
Generally, the thing is that, that happens a lot over here. And it's based upon the discretion of the government to change it. And, if you get good legal advice, then I'm sure that you should be able to succeed in that.
So
There's
how
no
much
guarantee,
time?
but of course you have a shot.
So how much time does it take to complete this if it is possible?
It's taking around 6 to 8 months for the government to respond, at least 8 months.
And what if the status, the duration of stay is shorter than this period?
That's why you need a lawyer to work those things out.
Okay.
And you'll have to extend the stay and everything. It can get a little complicated. But you should not be acting unlawful presence under Section 212 of the Immigration and Nationality Act.
All right.
So what you'll have to do is immediately when you come here, make sure that exactly you see an attorney and see what are your rights. Just try to get to know your rights and responsibilities, and then you need to proceed accordingly. Because once if immigration finds that if you had the preconceived intent of coming to America on a visit visa and changing your status, then they can deny you.
All right.
So when you are in America, email us at info@gehilaw.com and we'll see what we can do for you.
All right. Okay.
And it's late evening, you need to take some rest.
Thank you.
And happy Ramadan.
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Yeah. So the floor is open and okay. So Mir, good evening. How are you? And where are you calling from? And what's your full name, sir?
Yeah, I'm calling from Dallas, and my full name is Mir Mohammed. I'm from India.
Good evening, Mir.
Good evening. So my first question is, what will be the first step to discuss my compelling circumstances with you, so that to decide whether I do qualify for the H1 EAD?
All right. So what most people do is that I'm giving you access to my email address. It's info@gehilaw.com. It comes to me directly.
Okay.
You'll have to describe your situation a bit, and please do make a note of your phone number, and then I can call you. And it's better for us to talk about subjective matters in person rather than on the show, as you realize.
Yes, understood.
And I'll be happy to kind of help you out for sure.
Thank
So,
you.
And yeah, info@gehilaw.com. You can just send that email out right now.
Thank you. Second
Thank
question
you.
is,
Sure, please.
second question is, what will be the timeline for getting for the whole process?
First thing is that what we need to make sure is that we submit the case on time. You're looking at least 4 to 6 months for immigration to respond. This is approximate time because you know that COVID is going on and the government is completely dysfunctional at this time. But I believe like this is my approximation. They're looking at 4 to 6 months.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mir. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. So folks, I mean, this has been Ramesh. How are you? Hello. Good evening, Ramesh. Yes, I'm fine. How may I help you?
Okay, my question is, so first of all, I'm amazed.
I'm
and
sorry, you're
I'm-
breaking up. Your voice is not very clear, Ramesh. Your audio, you need to check your audio. We're having a sound issue from you. Right, so can we take the next caller for the time being? If there's someone else, we need to kind of log them on. And okay, so folks, next week, I would say, yes, hi, Akbar is back with you. Yes, Akbar, how may I help you? Yes, Akbar, mute us. Good, I can hear you now. Hello? Hello? Akbar, I cannot hear you. Okay, folks, always check your speakers because, you know, before you kind of call in, so it's going to help you a lot. And as I said, now, next week's show, I would say like Monday show, Monday 6:30, is going to be how can you self-sponsor your green card? And that's going to be the topic. And before we take the next caller, self-sponsoring yourself under the EB1 category, under the EB2 category, we're going to talk about self-sponsoring yourself, which means you do not need a sponsor. You can get a green card on your own. That's what we're going to talk about. So be ready, all those callers who are here and who are earning very good monies or making a big difference in America, they are going to benefit a lot. And especially for people who are not from India or from China, good news, if your I-140 is approved, you can directly go for the green card on your own. So that's going to be an amazing show next week. And I really need to thank Amin, who's one of our foundations in helping us to launch the show. And of course, needless to say about my brother Dan, he's just awesome. And they're just fantastic conductors of the show. And we just want you folks to do one thing for us. Keep spreading the message. And this is helping a lot of people. And this will really help you guys to answer your questions. How can you help us? Tell everyone that the Zoom show is free and the time is Mondays, 6:30 p.m. EST. And it's on Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And next week, we are going to talk about self-sponsoring yourself under the EB1 and the EB2 category for the green card. So folks, if there's Yogesh has raised his hand, so let me take Yogesh's call. Yes, Yogesh.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Yogesh. Good evening. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So my question is, my H1B 6 years are getting completed in August. My perm was filed in March last week. Do you think there are chances for perm and I-140 approval before August, or you think I'll have to leave the country?
I'm sorry to be honest and truthful to you. I think you may have to leave the country.
Okay. I just
only the other bet is that if you have kind of captured your time and everything, if you have some time remaining and everything, that's something that you need to look into.
No, I mean 6 years will be hard.
Other than that, if you're very highly qualified, if you have any publications or something, but still the problem is that India is not current.
Yep.
So you're looking at a difficult issue out here.
Okay. The other thing is like you spoke about like that EB2 can self-sponsor, like my wife's.
If she's absolutely brilliant, if she wants has a PhD, and if she has she's been published and everything, and if her work is very famous, then definitely I would speak to you about that. And the other thing that which people forget the most is that I've seen a lot of people who are actually brilliant. If they're ready to put in that extra work, that's what we're going to talk about on the next show. They really will be able to sponsor themselves for the green card under the EB1 category.
Okay.
So
Extra
keep
work
listening
means
to the next show. That's going to be very helpful
there
to
are
you
few
in your
things
life.
we can do, you mean to say?
I'm sorry?
You said like extra work. What kind of extra work?
That we are going to discuss in our next show,
Okay.
which means like, how they can enhance their credentials, which means you enhance your credential to a point
Okay.
that, it's like, for example, when you have our weekends off, we take admissions in school and whatnot, and we write publications. We are going to have a full kind of seminar on that, webinar on Monday evening for that.
Monday evening, 6:30.
Yes.
Okay.
Have a great evening.
Thank
And
you.
This is
firstly,
Amin. There are some questions on chat. Can you?
sure. And if you could just send those questions to me on chat so we can start, if you can display them on my screen, that'll be fantastic. Okay. Can you send me the questions, please? Or, is there a way for you to send me the questions, or you want to read them out to me? Sayed has raised his hand. Sayed, why don't you ask me a question, please?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Fantastic. Good job, Sayed. Bye.
Yeah, hi, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah,
Walaikum salam.
the question I have is, I have my employer who, I got my H1 approved for the next 2 years, and my project unfortunately got ended due to COVID in March, and I am.
Is your I-140 approved?
No, I'm not I-140 approved.
Okay, the other thing is that we can work something out with the employer. And if he's ready to talk to us, we should be able to get you something or the other. Or I can discuss some other reliefs with you, because I really don't want you to lose your status. But there's a way that we may be able to keep you legal.
Okay, well, maybe we'll connect offline on
Yeah,
this.
info@gehilaw.com. Just send me an email with your phone number, and I'll be happy
Sure.
to talk to you about it.
Sure, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Yes. And as I said, if there are any questions, I would request Dan and Amin to help me with those questions.
Hey, I have texted you the Abdul question on the chat.
On the site, or where have you texted that to me, please?
Texted you in the chat.
Hold
chat.
on. So we're all still learning and everything, and I'm looking at questions and answers here. So no open questions are coming up on my chat board. It shows answered 9. Okay, thanks for helping us on the issue question. I want to know for the H1. We've spoken to most of these people, I believe. Okay, so this is great that you're putting all the information up. And I think like the best thing to do is that they all can email me. And the best way is that ask me the questions over here. And then it'll be difficult for me to kind of, and looking at the chat and answering questions, because that needs a lot of attention. So the better way would be to actually ask me the question on the show, or if not, email me, so I can really give you my right information. Now, Nadeem has raised his hand. So, let me take Mr. Sayed's question or someone else's before we depart. Sayed, do you have any other questions? All right, so folks, I think thank you so much for today's show, and spread the word, which means, as you all can see, that we're taking these live fantastic shows with the viewers, and we'll be back again on Monday. And if not, simple, email me, info@gehilaw.com, and the instant program is an advertisement under the laws of the state of New York, and the advice given to all our viewers is general in nature and does not apply to any particular set of circumstances until and unless an attorney agreement is engaged between the client and the law firm. And we handle immigration cases from all over the United States and the world. Doesn't matter where you are. And the best way to reach us is 718-263-5999. And in fact, if people want to get in touch with me, the secret is info@gehilaw.com, and you have to leave your phone number. Thank you again to the fantastic moderators of the show. Thank you to Amin Bhai, and thank you to Dan for the amazing job you all are doing. And stay blessed, stay safe. We'll be back again next week with some more important news relating to EB1 visas and EB2 visas. How can you self-sponsor yourself for a green card on the only program, Green Card with Gehi?